song, praising my Savior all the day long. This is my story, this is my song.
This is my story. Today I'm going to talk about the time we spent studying in Yemen. From 2007 to 2015, we were involved in travelling to Yemen. First of all, Jeff and I went to the city of Sana'a and we studied by ourselves for about 6 months, studied Arabic. And the following year we took a team. I think there were about 9 of us. And that team over the years grew to about 20, including children. And we studied in the capital city, Sana'a. It was an ancient city. We stayed in the old city, and some of the buildings were hundreds of years old. Yemen was a very poor country. Many of the men were addicted to a substance called khat, which was a leaf that grew there, and they would, in the afternoons, nearly all the men would just sit for hours just chewing the khat. They'd put it into their mouths and it would bulge. And because of this, they weren't working so hard, their children weren't getting enough food, and so it was very poor. Also, the country experienced much warfare. There was tribal inter-warfare. There was also fighting between the Houthis or the Shia groups with the Sunni groups. There were refugees from Africa there. And during the time we were there was a lot of warfare. I remember in 2008, we were about 8 o'clock in the morning. We were in our home there, and suddenly we heard a shaking. We heard a bang and a shaking, and we looked outside and we could sort of see some smoke. Jeff and I were heading to the airport, and it was only when we arrived in London that we saw the news reports that the American embassy had been bombed. It was only about 3 kilometres away from us. Also, in the school that we studied, it was the same school the underpants bomber, Abdul Muttalib, studied at the same time we were there in 2009. And later we also heard that the Paris bombers who enacted the Charlie Hebdo murders in 2015 had also studied at the same school. And our purpose there in Yemen was to study Arabic. We studied at the Sana'a Institute for Arabic Learning. And while we were there, we had opportunities to serve. There was one of the old houses was collapsing. We passed by it. Jeff went in and asked questions to them and to the family, and we were able to help. And Indonesia helped to rebuild one of those houses, and we developed a relationship with that Yemeni family. Also, one of the things that happened when we were at the school was some of our boys, students who were with us, they were asked to sing, and they sang. It was actually a Christian song, but they didn't know, and they sang on TV, and this was repeated day after day, month after month. So there was an opportunity to share the gospel. Jeff enjoyed talking to the children we met and playing with them as we walked to and from the school. And so our time in Yemen, we came to learn Arabic so that we're better equipped to study the Quran and talk with Islamic leaders. And also we learned to love this country that suffered so much, and so we thank God for the opportunity that we and our team were able to spend there.
Praising my Savior all the day long.